Yep, that'll do nicely. G'day, I'm Bizy from Bizy Ranch, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to make some nice, cheap, usable chicken nesting boxes, Bizy Ranch style. So let's get into it. Here we go. I've just acquired some old pallets here, and this is probably the best and cheapest stuff I'm going to use to create these nesting boxes. You can use a whole different range of stuff. I've used MDF ones before, and I can show you a picture of the ones I've created earlier, but I want the cheapest stuff, 3 pallets. So I'm going to rip this bad boy down, and I've got some timber I can use, and I'll show you how I'm going to put it together. Should work pretty good. So these are previous nesting boxes that I made a while ago. They've had a few modifications. This is when I had the old coop. I used to have tops along these that would open up, but the same design is pretty much there. I want them to sit in there, have nice nesting material, and the ones I'm going to make next to them are going to be a little bit different. The whole purpose that I'm trying to create this is to show you how to make the cheapest ones you can possibly make, I guess, and I'm going to do it in a way that anyone is able to do it. So the first thing you need to do is get your dimensions of the box you want to create. So get your trusty tape measure. I'm going to make these ones, so I'm going to have them raised off the ground. I'm going to have them at about 380 mil long, and I'm going to make them about the same width as the old ones, so give or take about 300 mil, so 380 by 300, and I'm going to make them palings 2 high. So let's get in and I'll show you the wood. So here's all the offcut timber that I just got from that pallet. I've just made rough cut sizes. They're going to be good enough for what I want. We've just gone and measured inside how long we want them. And if I have a look at this board here, this one is 400, so it's over 400. So it's going to be definitely long enough for all the pieces that I need. Sure, you could go and use the drop saw, which I've got in the background here. But I'm going to show you a method that if you don't have drop saws, if you don't have drills and screws and nail guns and all that kind of stuff, the method you're going to be able to do it with is a simple hammer, nails and a saw. So let me get into it. Good old cheap saw from Bunnings, I think they're like $5–10 maybe that. So the first thing I want to do is you want to make sure that you have a straight edge. So I can even just use a pallet. This thing is designed not to be fancy and pretty, but designed to be nice and cheap and easy. So I'm just going to literally use, even just bring that down a bit, literally going to use just another pallet and scribe a square line across it. If you had a square you could use that as well, but this is a relatively straight pallet, and I'm just going to score a line across the front. Don't know if you're going to be able to see this very well, but I've just got my straight line across the edge. So I'll go ahead and cut that line. Nice straight edge, you're straight enough for what you need. So now I'm going to measure out 380 long, because I'm going to do my lengths first. .380. Look, I can even use the saw edge. Let's do that. Go ahead along your 380, get square to the eyeball, mark your line, and then go ahead and make my second cut. we now have one 380mm long piece of wood for our nesting box. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cheat and use the drop saw for the rest of them. When I've made the cuts for all my timber, I'll then come back to you and show you how I'm going to actually nail these together. Alright, now I'm just going to cut the front and the back pieces, which is going to be the 300mm wide. Quick and easy when you've got the tools, but if you don't, like I said, you can just use the handsaw. Lastly, I'm going ahead and I'm going to cut the 3 pieces that are going to be the base of the actual box itself. So being that the 300 wide, I'm going to put the front and the backs on the end of them. I need these ones to be 320, which is the thickness of the boards, and I'll show you that when I'm putting it together. So I'm going to cut 3 pieces. It's going to be 2 boards, 3 boards along the base of it, 300mm, 320mm. Beautiful. These pieces here are going to be the sides to hold up the sides of the box. So I'm just going to first cut the pieces square. And because essentially the box is going to be like that, I know that these are about 100mm. I'll tell you exactly. They're 92, so I'm going to make these lengths 200mm wide, so I've got a slight gap in them. It'll make more sense when I show you how I put it together. So, like my 200mm. I want another 2. 200mm again, and this is going to depend on what size you want your nesting boxes. Let's turn that around, make it easier. Alright, 4 sides. Alright, the general gist of how I'm going to put this nesting box together. Obviously it's going to be a square. Let me move that out of the way. The base is essentially going to be these 4 pieces here. So that is the size of it. Say this is upside down, then use these sections to lay across. And that's going to be the base. So that's the bottom of the actual nesting box. So I'm going to put this all together, then we'll flip it over, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do the top part of it. Alright, so I'm just going to use the hammer and nails, because it's more likely that most people are going to have access to these sort of tools around home. I'm just going to be using, this is just all I had around here, it's just board head nails, 25mm nails. Again, nothing special. See if I can show you what the nails look like. Yep, nothing too crazy. Right. Now when I'm nailing this in, I'm going to start the nail first. So the piece that I'm going to nail onto the other side, I'm just going to start the nails first, make it easier for me rather than holding it up. Put a couple in. I mean, you could glue this kind of stuff if you want, but I mean it's a chicken nesting box. And the whole idea is of making it cheap and easy for us to do. So I've just started my nails. 3 nails started in the board. I'm going to hold the other board up. Like such. just nailed it in. Again, it's not perfect, I'm using pallets. However, it's strong enough that when it's all come together, it's not going to fall apart and it's going to be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of the base here. Now you might have some warpage as you do it. Again, pallet thing, right? Yeah. All you need to do is just pull it into place when you're nailing it, and it's going to square it up enough for what we're doing. Right, that part there is done. Next thing I'm going to do is put my base pieces across the ends like that. I'm not going to butt them up tight against each other because I don't mind there being a bit of a gap. It's got a little bit of breathing space in the actual nesting box itself. So I'll nail this together, just going to eyeball it, and I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so far that is the base. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could just use that. Put some sugarcane mulch or some straw or something in there, and you're good to go. I mean, I've only used 3 screws in each one here. The small screws, you can put more if you want. You can use larger, nails. You can use larger nails if you want to. I mean, is it as pretty as me? Yes. Is it as strong as me? Probably stronger. I mean, let's be real. But I'm going to add the extra layer on here. So I'm going to make another 3rd sided piece that's going to lay on top of it. It's going to go 1, 2, 3 like that. And I'm going to use those last side pieces to then attach them to the bottom part of the frame. Just giving me an extra height and making the chickens feel a little bit more comfortable in the nesting box. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Right, the side is there. So it's almost done here. I just need to attach these front bits together. You can see they're still loose. Obviously I need to put something underneath it so when I'm actually hitting the wood it's not just springing off and being bouncy. I need something solid. So I'm just going to use the side of my desk here. Look at that, sexy. Alright, so there you have it. That is one good looking nesting box. You can see I've left the top half open, so when it sits down, chicken's going to be able to come in, feel nice and comfortable. A lot of breathing space in here, so you know, they're going to be maybe pooing and peeing in the nesting box, so it's going to aerate it out. And nice and cheap too. You can see I just used hammer and nail. I did use handsaw for the first one to show you can do it, however I cheated and used my drop saw, but wanted to show you that you can make a nice, cheap, easy, affordable nesting box for your chickens. Doesn't have to break the bank. So what did this cost me? If I had no tools whatsoever and I started from scratch, the pallet was free, right? That's the biggest part of the timber. Awesome, especially being soft pine, it's easier to nail into rather than the hardwood. The saw, about $5. A hammer, you can get a cheap hammer, probably like $5–10 as well. And then a packet of nails, you know, just really cheap. Just when you do buy nails, just make sure that they're not going to go all the way through the 2 pieces of timber because you don't want to have any spiky bits for your chickens to potentially hurt themselves on. But if you like this idea, let me know. Let me know what you think could have been done better. I mean, it took me all of about 10 to 15 minutes to create one nesting box here. But if you like this kind of stuff, maybe subscribe to the channel if you like seeing this kind of things. Give me a like. And once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bloody good, this box. Maybe I'll have this as my bed and the chickens can take my bed. That's what I reckon.